Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Ben Newman, and I'm a coronavirus person. Yeah. Let's answer your questions. So, next question is from Kat. Hello again, Kat. Let's see. Is this paper suggesting that vaccines can cause more trouble than they help? Yeah, and it's a link to a paper that indeed does suggest that, but there's some problems here. So let's get into this. The other part of the question is I notice it's from March, so maybe research has moved on from this. I would say this is one of those things that was probably always outside the mainstream of research, and you might say coming from somewhere like deep left field. Yeah, basically. So, what is this? Okay, it's a single author paper, and these do occasionally exist. Mostly they would be something like a review, I would say, and I think this one is more like a review, so that's potentially okay. But generally, single author papers are, I think, the biggest source of. It's where you find the really wacky stuff as well, and that would be single author manuscripts that usually get rejected. Yeah, but where you have this one good idea and nobody else understands, your personal genius. That sort of paper. Which peer review is pretty good at weeding those out. Didn't weed this one out though, so that's fine. The person who is writing the paper um, is affiliated apparently only with the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Both pure and applied. Yeah, that covers it, right? That's it. Game over. I looked up the Institute. It seems to exist mostly on Facebook. And yeah, I guess I'm on Facebook too, yeah. But I'm going to throw stones at this glass house anyway. They do have a website as well. They seem to be generally anti vaccine. They are very concerned with nebulous toxins that are all around you and going to do something bad. We can't give them a name, but that doesn't matter. And I don't know. They apparently routinely try to get papers into journals. I don't know if this is guerrilla style, anti-science or what exactly, but fine. The idea behind pathogenic priming is an old one. And some of the old papers are mentioned here. My introduction to it was from some papers from the 1990s about a mouse coronavirus. I bet the field goes back much farther than that, but I just haven't read those papers, so that's where my personal little world begins. The idea is that if you create an immune response against something, and that something happens to be the same as part of the body, then you're going to end up with autoimmunity, and that could do bad stuff to you. Which, theoretically, possible. Yeah. There are mechanisms in the immune system specifically to stop this sort of thing from happening, but yeah, theoretically, it's a thing that could happen at least at a low level inside of anybody. But it's a thing that also probably does happen at a low level inside of everybody every single day, and we're still walking around, so it's probably not the giant deal that they would like to make of it. They're drawing a line around vaccines as the bad thing, and they're sort of forgetting about all the virus and protein stuff that you breathe in with every single breath. They're forgetting about potential immune reactions to every single thing that you eat, and all the DNA contained therein, and all the bacteria contained therein, and all the proteins that those bacteria make, and all the antibiotics that those bacteria make that are inside you right now. I mean, yeah, you can go down this wormhole, but the sum of it is that while this stuff may exist at a low level, it is only going to very, very, very rarely make any kind of difference in the way that you would go about your normal daily business. So, yeah. Um, so, here's how it is supposed to work. The idea is if you get. So, for example, this has been proposed as a mechanism for multiple sclerosis. It hasn't really stood up. People have proposed it and then not been able to find a whole lot of evidence in the years and years and years that they've been researching this. The idea is that, let's say you have a virus. Virus is going to make proteins. There's only 20 amino acids that are going to commonly appear in proteins, and there's only so many ways that you can arrange them that kind of make biological sense. So, what are the odds that eventually, out there somewhere, is some little part of a virus, maybe 7, 8 amino acids long, that happens to be identical to one of the many thousands of proteins that you are capable of making? Could happen, yeah. But then the idea would have to go that your immune system would have to recognize this part, make an especially strong immune response against this one little part, and then after the actual danger from the virus, or I guess vaccine in this case, goes away, then your immune system would be left just attacking itself indefinitely. Autoimmunity is a thing. It does exist. We don't know all of the causes for it, although there are some genetic markers that do seem to be associated with some kinds of autoimmunity, myasthenia gravis, for example. But for the most part, yeah, this is, I don't know, it's not good science. And it's being sort of fronted as good science by an institute that I don't think has your best wishes in mind. I think they've got an agenda they would like to push, and I think they are coming from not necessarily outside science, but kind of beside science. Yeah, people with some scientific background who are maybe no longer working scientists. I'm just guessing here, but that's kind of the feel that I get from this. So yeah, no, I think it's. I don't think it's anything you need to worry about. It's something that people have seriously been looking at for a lot of years, and it is something that people have been looking at because it's potentially a mechanism in a really important disease, multiple sclerosis and every other autoimmune disease. Despite all the funding and looking, nobody's found anything. Absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, but it's evidence that smart people have been trying a whole lot of ways, and if it was as easy as, yeah, this paper says, we would have figured it out by now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it's collecting up all the threads that sort of match that interpretation. It is not collecting the threads that were sort of bigger, stronger, and show that this is kind of nonsense. And yeah, that's basically my opinion of it. So yeah, no, I don't think you need to worry about vaccination for any of the reasons that it says in here, and I don't think there's anything particularly useful, valid, or current about this particular weird single author publication. Yeah, there you go. Trying to be nice. I don't. Yeah, I do not rate this paper. Anyway, thanks very much. I don't know how this. Actually, I do know exactly how this thing got spread around. It's featured in the press releases of the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge, and I would imagine they have pushed it on Facebook, and I would imagine that's how people are seeing it. It's, yeah, Facebook, darn it, again. All right, anyway, thanks very much. This has been Ask Dr. Ben.